All right, guys, welcome back out to the garden. I'm Rachel, and it has been at least 3 weeks, maybe a little over 3 weeks since I planted my onions. So now it is time to give them their first big feeding. If you didn't know, onions are super heavy feeders, especially with respect to nitrogen. At least that's what I found last year worked best for me. If you didn't catch last year's onion harvest video, I'll link a couple of those videos throughout this update, but it was the first year I had success growing onions. I fed them every 3 weeks with composted chicken manure. You can buy that in bags, and that's what I used last year. This year, I just doing more research over the season. I picked up some fish fertilizer. It has it's about 5% nitrogen, 1% phosphate, 1% potash. So I'm going to be diluting this to a gallon. My beds are 32 square feet. So I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons or so of the emulsion to a gallon of water, feed the onions. But we have some scary weather coming. Not scary, so I don't only have hardy vegetables planted now. Peas, beets, cabbage, spinach, collards, kale, my salad greens, and carrots. And but we have temperatures coming this week. One day, like 25 degrees is the low. So I believe everything's fine. I'm not worried about anything. I am worried, of course. As a gardener, you're always worried, but I'm somewhat confident that everything will be okay. So I'm gonna just take you guys with me and go over fertilizing the onions for the first time. So first off, I definitely didn't expect that to come out of the jar. It's like pudding. I thought it was gonna be like liquid. So now I gotta figure out how to mix this up and put it in my little handy dandy watering can. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll just play some music while I figure this out.
I was lost in the woods, on the dust, and the fairies found me. And they led the way, they cleared the way to my heart. All the hurt, all the pain under the skin.
Well, that's about it for fertilizing my onions, and I'm going to do that every 3 weeks until the bulbs really start forming anyway, and I get to the spooning, and then I'll cut it back just a little bit. But would you look at that garlic behind me? That looks phenomenal. Man, I'm excited to get into that. We'll harvest our garlic probably in July, but if you guys didn't catch my vlog, let me show you the peas. Ooh, would you look at all those peas? All the way down. I'm gonna walk down there and show you. You guys remember, this is where I left off. Hopefully you guys can see the green stops here. This is where I started the beets. So the peas, it looks like 100% germination. Everything came up. And my beets are looking phenomenal. Again, everything looks like it's coming up great. So I know I got a ton of constructive feedback about the way that I amended my beds, but I didn't go into it willy-nilly. I did go into it with a lot of thought and a lot of research. I know tons of people were concerned about me using the peat moss as a top layer. Hopefully this will give some sort of evidence that it definitely works. I think that's been some of my issues in the past, is just proper seed germination with a lot of things. And hopefully this good layer of good organic compost that I put down will just be that right additional boost of nutrients that I need this year for my beets. Okay, so unfortunately, this bed is the only bed it's happening to. So Todd, here's like a spinach right here. This is weeds. When we brought in the barn clean out from the goats, I'm guessing there was some hayseed dropped. This is definitely coming from a seed. And so it is popping up, unfortunately. Ugh, I hate that. So it's not too bad. I can probably count like a handful of spots. So I'm just gonna manage it and hopefully get it under control before it takes over. Yeah, so just walking through, that's what I pulled. There's a couple spots that I just keep turning the hay or straw bedding over on itself to try to kill out the weed seed. But it's not too bad, and it seems like it comes up with the root. Like it's definitely a seed of some kind. So it is a gamble that you take when you're using barn clean out in your gardens. So that wraps up today's feeding. I'm just gonna leave this out here underneath my table. That way it's on hand. And if you guys didn't know, try not to get too political here, but Michigan's governor has closed big garden centers, closed off the garden centers. So greenhouses I would typically go to, which I shared with you why I was planting my cabbage from seed this year, because, well, at the time it was just stay-at-home orders, so I didn't want to not obey the stay-at-home orders and go to the greenhouse when I had seed and I could just try to grow them from seed. But typically I would go to my greenhouse and get my cabbage seeds. Always go to my greenhouse to get my tomato starts and my pepper starts. So this year I did order them online. I think my peppers are coming from California and my tomatoes are coming from Arizona this year. So that'll be fun. But what did I start to say? Oh, there's a lot of debate going on about it. And I'm definitely against it, of course, because I garden for our food every year. So I see food growing as essential. And a lot of people are saying, oh, but it's Michigan and you can't even garden till May anyway. As you can see, that is so totally not true. So yeah, I can't grow cucumbers yet. I can't grow peppers, tomatoes, squash. But I can grow a ton of food right now, and it gives me a much longer growing season so I can get a ton more harvested. So that is the impact to a lot of people that maybe didn't have the supplies on hand that I had to go ahead and get started on my garden. So just a different perspective from my personal homestead and how this would have impacted me or has already, because I've had to pay a lot more money to secure my starts for certain things because I'm having them shipped in. With that being said, happy gardening, guys. And if you're in a state where you can garden freely, enjoy it, because just having that right taken away it's pretty significant. So enjoy your freedom, garden your heart out. And if you haven't planted something, just go buy it and plant it because you can. Talk to you guys later.